Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Donald Trump's effort, almost surely doomed, to get his criminal case in the Manhattan State Court removed to federal court. Sounds pretty legal. It is, but it's not all that complicated. So, as you remember, he sued basically in state court, meaning the district attorney for the borough of Manhattan has brought a suit, the people of New York versus Donald Trump. It's a criminal suit alleging violation of the state's criminal law. Now, that is really a bread and butter kind of suit that state authorities bring, violations of state law. That's like right down the middle of a state sovereign interest. So that means Trump starts already on an uphill slope when he makes the effort, as he has, to say this case should be moved to federal court. Now, this is going to come up also in Fulton County, where he has even higher stakes to try to get it moved into federal court. Just start for a second with the weird notion that you would have the people of New York suing for violation of New York state law in a case brought by the New York Manhattan District Attorney, tried in federal court. Why would that happen, and how could that happen? Okay, there's a general provision for taking cases that are in state court, and the term of art is removing them to federal court. And this is from way, way back at really the sort of first notion of the founders, that you wanted federal courts to be around for protecting federal rights and also for preventing sort of home cooking and partisanship in state courts. And the law as it now exists says that if somebody is sued in state court, he or she can move to remove the case in a couple instances that matter here. Let me read the actual statutory language. So if a federal officer faces criminal charges for conduct arising under color of his office, and 3, identifies a colorable federal defense. You can imagine why you might need this. Think if in the contentious civil rights era, somebody sues a federal officer in Mississippi criminal court, basically for doing his or her job. And you would say, no, that needs to go in the federal courts. Congress has said so, because you're suing a federal officer for conduct done under his course of employment. And he's got a colorable federal defense. For example, I was carrying out my duties under federal law. All right, this is the hole that Trump has tried to hammer his way in. But think about it for a second. So remember, the New York DA case, that's Stormy Daniels' hush money payout. You may see an immediate problem in that the agreement, almost all the criminal conduct, takes place for Trump, the candidate. He's not even a federal officer. He's just running for president. Now, Trump, in arguing for removal, says, well, some of it occurred when I was in office, meaning that a couple of the final payoff checks to reimburse Michael Cohen for paying the hush money to Stormy Daniels occurred, but Trump signed as president. Okay, so for starters, there's this, and by the way, the event that triggers this whole little discussion is the Trump move to remove, and then just yesterday, the New York DA, Alvin Bragg, has responded. So has said, first, he wasn't a federal officer. He was almost exclusively a candidate for office. That's not the same thing. Second, He was not acting under color of employment. And now we're in the familiar, maybe E. Jean Carroll territory when the whole question came up when he defames E. Jean Carroll. Is he doing it as part of his duties as president? Well, at least there he was making statements to the press. He had some argument, though it's gone against him. What's the conduct here? Paying off a porn star to hide an affair? That's so tenuous. The argument that that's somehow under color of employment is an enormous stretch. And then finally, he's got to have a colorable federal defense. And what would that be? Somehow, something again to do with you can't sue a president or I'm a federal official. There isn't. This is really a down the middle kind of interpretation of state law. There is, remember, this kind of Bragg has suggested that maybe a violation of federal law, the Federal Elections Code, could be part of the case. But even that wouldn't give rise to any kind of federal defense that Trump has named. And, by and large, the sort of payoff quote that that Bragg said is, it's really got nothing at all to do with any of his official duties. And moreover, he wasn't even president. Okay, so that is the state of play. And it strikes me as a very weak case for removal. It might be different when it comes to Fulton County. So it's good to kind of have a sense of the analytical framework of the issue. It's also good, and maybe we can talk about this in a future day, to know that if he loses, if the trial court rules against him, does he can he appeal it immediately, or does he have to go to trial? It looks to me like he has to wait till the end of a trial, but I will look into that further and report back. In the meantime, we have the DA filing a brief that makes a very strong case against Trump's efforts to move this state criminal case into the New York federal court. Talk to you later.
What's up, Midas Mighty? Jordy here. Talking Feds, the YouTube channel run by renowned attorney and former top federal prosecutor Harry Litman, is now part of the MeidasTouch network. Check out the Talking Feds YouTube channel by searching for it right now and subscribe to Talking Feds on YouTube for free, great legal coverage. Search for Talking Feds on YouTube and subscribe today. Let's help get that channel to over 100,000 subscribers.